All right, hello once again. Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And as part of the Rankin Technical College Application and Website Development, or AWD1100 Programming Fundamentals with C# course, I'm creating a series of video presentations based on the PowerPoint slides for our textbook for the class, that being Muroc's C# 7th edition, which you can see on the screen right here. Now, so far, I have done all of Section 1, all of Section 2, the even number chapters in Section 3, Chapter 17, and I'm in the middle of creating a link example for Chapter 18. Okay, so I'm just going to pick it up right there, and I've decided to add a couple things in here. And there's not much to show, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, or a 7. So this will say enter a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 now. And this will now say if it's less than if it's greater than 7. Okay, now what am I doing? Well, this says please show all instructors by last name ascending. We'll change this one to last name descending. It's got a C in it, so does that. All right, then we will do department ascending. Then we will do department descending. And let's see. Why don't we just do them in order? So let me move this. All right, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of manipulating here. There's no problem at all. So this will be 1, 2. Well, something looks funky here. Oh, I moved the wrong one. Okie dokie. X. That'll be a 7. So 1 will be all by first name ascending. A 2 will be instructors by first name descending. A 3 will be last name ascending. A 4 will be last name descending. A 5 will be department ascending. A 6 will be department descending. And finally, a 7 will be to end the program. I'm just lengthening this out so we can see more examples of eventually working with link. So let me run this and see if it still looks okay. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. None of these are programmed. All right. Okay, so enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. Now good. All right. So now we've got our call correct function. And what we want to pass into that is the actual option right here. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. So when we call this, we're going to pass in the option, which will give me an error until I fix it down here. So int option. And then we're going to do a switch on that option. Now, when we do this switch, there are 7 different things that we can call. So we'll have 7 cases. none of the routines that we're about to call have been written yet. So I'm going to put them in and I'm going to get a bunch of errors. And after I get that bunch of errors, we'll fix it. So case 1, we will call show instructors by first name ascending. And we will break. Now that has not yet been written. So let me quickly just go down just so we've got something in here. I'm going to put in static void show instructor by first name ascending. There. Now we don't have that error in there anymore. All right. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and our default. For our default, we'll just break. And actually, if we got a default, somehow we got a menu option that was of an invalid option. So let's call show menu. All right. Now, if it's a 1, we're going to call show instructors by first name ascending. If it's a 2, we're going to show call by first name descending. Now, that hasn't been written yet, so I'm going to comment that out. A 3 will be show instructors by last name ascending, which again has not been written yet. A 4 will be show instructors by last name descending, which again has not been written. A 5 will be show instructors by department ascending, which again has not yet been written. A 6 will be show instructors by department descending, which again has not yet been written. And finally, a 7 will be exit the program now, which again has not yet been written. All right, so we have no errors, but now we have to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different routines. So let's start, should make sense to you. Let's start with the first one. All right. Which is going to be this show instructors by first name ascending. All right, that's right here. So I'm going to clear the screen. Var. And I'm going to call it what it is. First name ascending. I'm starting to write link here. And I'm going to set that equal to from I in instructor. Did I create a list of instructors? I did. Instructors. Order by I dot last name I dot last name ascending. Select I. So in English, that's going to say what we want here is we're going to want to select all instructors, and we're going to want to order them in ascending order based on last name. Now, we don't have any instructors with the same last name, but if we did, we could put another thing in here that would say I dot first name ascending, just in case there'd be 2 instructors with the same last name. All right, so after we do that, we're going to say, do a right line in here that says, here are instructors by last name ascending order, and we'll put in a for each here. Let's put it what it is. So this is first name ascending. And we'll do a read line. And believe it or not, we are done with that one. Now let's see if that one works. Okay? And if we get an error, we'll have to fix it. So now hopefully the number 1 works. 1. Are they in order by last name? And it sure as hay looks like they are. That's a great start. All right. Now the good news is I'm going to grab this because there's very few changes that we have to make in here. So this will be show instructors by first name descending. This will be DE. DE. You can make this DE as well by last name descending order. So now let's see if the number 2 works. And it doesn't work, and I know why. It's because in the switch, we have to now uncomment this because it now works. All right, so a 1. There we have them in ascending order: Anderson, Corrigan, Grow, Herring, Gudmested, Johnson, Parsons, Scott. With a 2, Scott, Parsons, Johnson, Gudmested, Grow, Herring, Corrigan, Anderson. So those are all working. Excellent start. All right, so let's do this next one. So this is by last name ascending. And I guess when we first did this, we didn't do it by first name. So let's go back and change this. So this should be first name ascending and first name descending. So what is going on here? So we've got here number 1 should be first name ascending. So this should be first name ascending. This should be first name descending. We're going to fix it. So this is first name. Show the first name ascending. And if there are any matches, we'll do the last name ascending. And that should be a capital F, I believe. There we go. All right, so here are instructors by first name ascending. All right, and this is now first name descending. I apologize for screwing this up. So again, this is first name, and it is descending, and this will be last name descending. Okay. So here they are by first name descending. All right, hopefully I fixed all that up. Let's find out. All right, I missed something. Right, I didn't write that one yet, so let's see now if a 1 gives us first name in ascending order and a 2 gives us first name in descending order. So a 1, Brock, Chad, Charles, Evan, Jeff, Mary, Thomas. That is correct. And a 2, Thomas, Mary, Jeff, Evan, Charles, Chad, Brock. So those are all working. Good. Now I can undo this. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to undo that. I'm going to get errors for those, and that's fine. So I'm going to copy these, both of these routines here. Paste them in. I'm going to get errors. Don't worry about it. So this will now become last name descending. So will this. So that's last name ascending. So this will become last. And this will now become first by last name ascending. And this one will be by last name descending. Which will mean since that's last, this will now become first. And this will be now last name ascending and last name descending. All right, all of this 1 through 4 should now be working. One, we get our names, first names, ascending order, and that looks like it's working just fine. 2, we get our names, first names in descending order, and that's fine. 3, by last name ascending order. 4, last names in descending order. All right. And finally, let's just add the last 2 in here. So that's show by department ascending, whoops, and show by department descending. So I'm going to grab the last 2 that I put in here. And we will have in here then show instructors by department ascending. And then we will do it by last name. And we don't have to. This is a little bit of overkill, but I'm going to put in here like I said, that's a little bit of overkill, but that's okay. All right, so here are your instructors by department. And this will be department ascending. That'll be DA also. And this will be by department descending. Again, this will be department. And this will be and finally first name. So here are instructors by department descending, DD and DD. I'm almost finished. So now I've already run the first four, so let me just run 5 and 6. So 5, there's by department, accounting, application, and last name, and then last name, last name, last name, last name. That all works. So 6 should just be the reverse. Just wondering if yeah, this is by department name in descending order. That's correct. Yep. All right, so what's left in here? Not much. All right, we did say in here if we had a number, if we did come in here and put in the last one that's in here, this one, exit program now, which we haven't written yet, so let's write that now. Put that down on the very bottom. Then I'm going to go back and just look at one of these. So static void exit program now. And I'll again clear. And I'll do a write line that says program terminating goodbye. With a read line and environment.exit0, which is typically the way that you end a normal ending for a console lab. So let's just see if that last one now works. So if I put in a 7, program terminating goodbye, and it's gone. Now the only thing that's left to do, all right, I don't know, did I have any error messages in here? Let's check my time here. Oh, I'm doing fine. Let's add 2 more things in here. All right. And what I mean is, let's allow you to search for an instructor by last name or search for a department. Okay. So we will add 1 more in here. In fact, I guess we will. So this will be 7. This will be 8. This will be 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 now. So the 7 will be to show to search for an instructor by last name. I could do a first name as well. I'm just going to leave it at that. And this will be to search for a department. Okay, and this may change a little bit, but we'll see in just a minute. So that has to now be a 9. So does that. Now, one thing that I can do in here is, I could come in here and I could make, I've got 9 options, right? So I could come in here and add a couple more global constants, and I could say const int lowest menu option equal 1, and const int highest menu option equals 9. Just as an example, this isn't the greatest, but I can do that. So I've got lowest menu option now and highest menu option. All right, so now when I come in here and I make my checks, I could say if it's less than the lowest menu option or it's greater than the highest menu option. All right. Now, is that better? I'm not going to say it is or is not better, but I've now got 1 through 7. This is now going to be a 9. All right. And I've got to add my new 7 and 8. All right. And that is to search for an employee by the address. So here we'll put in here case 7. And again, it'll give me an error because I haven't written it yet. But we'll say search for employee by last name. Like I said, this has not been written. That's why I will comment it out for now. And case 8. And I will call this search for all all employees in a specific department. It's long, but it's fine. Break. And again, I will comment this out as well. So I've got to write those 2 where I'm going to put in my search. Okay? All right. I'm at 28 minutes. I'm going to pause for just a moment, and then I'll come back and finish this up. All right. I took a short break and had my lunch. And I put a bunch of comments in here saying where stuff was beginning and ending, just so you know that it's in there, okay? Now, what's left are numbers 7 and 8. Search for an instructor by last name and search for employees in a given department. Let's see, first of all, does it run? I want to make sure I didn't break anything that was out there. So 7 to search for an instructor by last name, 8 for a search for employees in a given department. All right, that's fine. Please enter a 1 through 9. Now that's fine. All right, so everything is good, but I have to write the one for number 7 and the one for number 8. Now I have written the shell for each function, but I didn't write each one itself. So there is the search for employee by last name, and there's search for all employees in a specific department. Okay, so we're going to write that right now. Now, if we go back and look up at the top of our program, oops, I don't know what I just did. All right, if we go back up to the top of our program, well, we can see there's some stuff here we don't need, so we can get rid of that. Okay, Just trying to clean it up a little bit. Now notice we're not using nothing inputted. We're not using no first name found. We're not using no last name found. We're not using no department name found. We're not going to search for first name. So I'm going to get rid of that one. So we just have to check for these three. Nothing inputted, etc. And if these are not found, they're not really errors. They're really something I want to inform the user about. So I'm going to write down at the bottom, as I oftentimes have done in here. You can see the program's getting quite big. It'll now be over 300 lines. But I'm going to put in here static void show message. I'll have a string for the message. I'll have a string for the title. And I'll have my message box dot show. And we will have the message, the title, and then we will also have my button, my OK button. Don't know why it's doing that. Message box buttons dot OK, but it doesn't like something. Thought that was it, but we'll figure it out. And so what doesn't it like? String message, string title, message box dot show. Oh, we can't have a message box in here because this is not that kind of a program. All right, so we will have in here our write line, and we will write the message, and then we will put, we don't even need a title. We'll just write the message. How's that? And to be sure, we can put in a couple \n so it's not butting up against anything. So we'll just write the message. Okay, that'll be that. All right. So what is left then is we want to search for an employee by last name. So let's start out with clearing. And we'll have a string, and we'll just call it last name. And we'll put a write in here, and it'll say enter the last name of an employee to search for. Just say enter last name. There we go. Enter last name of an employee to search for. All right. And now last name is going to be equal to read line. There's no parsing or anything because it's just a string. If last name dot trim is equal to nothing, that means no name was inputted. So we will put in an error message there, or a comment. No or nothing was inputted. All right. So we will do a show message, and we will pass in nothing inputted. All right. If we get down to here, there was input. I don't like that. Input. That's better. So after we show the message, we'll put in a read line. And they did something wrong, so we'll call show menu again. All right. So here there was input, so this will be my else. Oops. It could be more than one person with that last name. There isn't in our case, but there very well could be. And now we will add the where. Something's funky, but we'll fix it in just a minute. All right. So var last name found, got to give it a different name, from, oh, I did that before. Oh, that's got to be a var. Var last name found equals from I in instructors. By I dot last name into boom 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 select I. Are you missing a directive or assembly reference? Well, I did it just like these. Var this equals var that equals from I in instructors order by. It's telling me there's a conflict here, so this exit program now can go down to the very bottom. Like that. A query body. There you go. I had one too many parens in there. All right. So, did that. That. And here, after this, in this else, all right, we will write to a right line. And it will say last names meeting search criteria. For each var ln in last name found, right line, last name. All right, that should be it for that one. So we can try to test that one. So this is 7. Enter a last name of an employee to search for. Scott. Oh, I didn't put a read line in there at the end, so I think it might just be whipping right through it here. Let's try that again. 7. Scott. All right. There we go. Let's try it again. We'll do a 7. We'll do hello. There are no names that meet that criteria. All right. So let's do a couple \n's here. I'm going to put in here if, I don't know if I can even do this, but ln dot, is there a count? No. Wanted to put down that there was nothing that met that criteria. This will work, and it'll be just fine now. So if I come in here, put in a 7, put in Corrigan. There it is. Last name's meeting search criteria. All right, Corrigan. Okay, that's all fine, but let's try this now. I tried to put that in. I'm not sure if it'll take this. It may not like it, so. Let's try it again. That's my telephone at work ringing here, so I'll have to let that keep going. So 7. And then our last name to search for, hello. Last name, meeting search criteria. There are none. Doesn't like that. I'm sure there's a way to search for it being empty. I don't know offhand what it is. So, meeting search criteria. See, I'm creating a local variable right here called ln, and I'm writing it out. But if there's nothing there, there has to be a way. Let's try this. How to tell if a C# link query returns nothing. All right, so the name of your query, if the count is equal to 0. So that's this. Try it. If dot count is less than or equal to 0, to do a right line that says no records met search criteria. Let's try that. Run it again. I'm going to put in a 7 here, put in Scott, and boom, there's the match. Run a 7 again and type in hello. No records met search criteria. That's exactly what I wanted here. All right. So the next one that we're going to do is going to be similar in nature. So I'm going to copy all of this stuff that's in here, and let me just paste it in here. And then we'll make changes to it in just a minute. But I want to come back up. Let's see. If all right. I mean, what I'm doing right now too is just cosmetic in nature, so I'm just finishing this stuff up here. In fact, for that error message, not error message, but that thing I wrote, that's what I want to write for that one. No instructor that matches that criteria. Show instructors by department. Last name found. That's what I want to write there. No last name found. And I also want the no department name found. So I don't know why that should still be grayed out, but it's not. There's no department found. Okay. So this will be department found, depth found. We can still do it by last name and first name. That's fine. Where department contains depth to upper. So this will be employees in department may be finished, but let's just take a quick look. So this is number 8. So if I come through here and say 8, and it says enter department to search for. If I put application and website development, it should come back with me and Mr. Gudmested. And it does. If I run it again and I put an 8 in there and I put information technology, it's got them. If I run it again and say accounting, okay. If I run it again and say hello, should be no instructor department matching, no department matching criteria is what that should say. Let's change that. So no department matching criteria. 2 more things to check. We'll go over it quickly, and then that'll be it. So 7, enter last name to search for. Hello, no instructor last name matching criteria. That's good. 8, enter department to search for. Hello, no department matching criteria. Be no last name matching criteria. All right, so when I go through each one of these, then I'm just going to grab one of the search ones and one of the non-search ones. So let's just grab this first one here. Show instructors by first name ascending. We clear the screen, and this is our query. We're telling it to go through the list of instructors, all right, and we're telling it for each instructor, we want you to order it by first name in ascending order, and if there are any ties, in other words, 2 people with the same first name, then do it by last name in ascending order. All right, we will call this first name ascending. All right, now with all those, there's no search criteria. That's just saying show me. So this is saying show me everybody, but order it by the first name. And then we do the same thing. So we got a first name ascending, a first name descending, a last name ascending, a last name descending, a department ascending, and a department descending. But then we get down to our search. So search for an employee by last name. We again clear the screen. We make a local variable named last name, and we say enter the last name of the employee to search for. And then we put that in. Then we say if there was nothing in there, so if we trim it and it was empty, we're going to basically print out that nothing was inputted. We're going to do a read line, and we're going to call show menu, which is going to clear the screen and ask them to basically do it all over again. All right, so if this is the case, as it says nothing was input, if we get down to here, there was input. So we can do our query. Since we can do our query, so create last name search link query. All right, and it's a little bit more complex than the other one we did, because what we're doing here is we're putting criteria on here. We're saying rather than showing me everybody, only show me where the last name in uppercase, where there's a match. And then we do something similar down here, but this will do the department search link query. Now, one of the longest, if not the longest one that we've done thus far. All right, so let's see. I want to try to be consistent here, so that, I mean, you can see that this is 370 lines. So by far, this is, I would think, this is either the largest program or longest program we've done, or it's got to be right up there. And again, all I'm trying to do in here is to put in some documentation. Okay. All right. I think that's good. So I'm going to stop right here. When I return, which will be in just a couple minutes, first thing I want to do is, I'll save all this. And I want to grab my Chapter 17 and 18 programs, cut them, and put them in my in-class programs here. Okay. Now, when I come back, I've got 4 chapters to go in the book. I'm going to go into Chapter 19. I'm going to attack this a little bit differently, just so you know, because it's a brand new topic, that being talking about database programming. Okay, even though there aren't many slides, it'll be a fairly long presentation. I'll be back with that shortly.